All right, welcome to Divorce Diary Show podcast. I am re-recording this for like the fifth time. Yesterday I had sound issues, and today I'm literally pretending to use the microphone for my YouTube channel to make it look fancy. So I don't know why the fuck I even am holding this now because I just added myself. But you know what? It's a comfort. Honestly, this is a support tool right now. Cheers. Good morning. It's Monday morning, and I definitely have eye crust right there. That's disgusting. Oh my God. This is a mess. Like it's Halloween and I didn't even have to get dressed up just to look like what my costume is, which is a trash bag mess. Not I'm not a trash bag. I'm a single mom. Okay. So I am excited to record this episode because I had a really good, oh my gosh, Ed Milet just texted me, guys. I do get down, scared, and discouraged. I am human just like you. The true test of your character is what you do when you hit those inevitable speed bumps. Yes, that is very true. All right, so I am back with the podcast episode. I recorded it a bunch of times yesterday because there's something on my mind that I wanted to share and talk about, but I was like afraid to do it the wrong way or say something the wrong way. And then I was like, then I took it down and I was like, oh my God. So I decided to re-record it because something else changed my perspective. Well, not to say maybe changed my perspective, but something last night also helped me kind of shift a tiny bit my perspective and kind of take a breath. So it's Halloween, and my daughter does not want to participate in Halloween, which is fine. I don't really want to participate in Halloween either. And I was like starting to like push it on her, like, you should participate, you should participate. And it's like, but I don't want to participate. I fucking hate it. Honestly, I don't know why, I just do. Okay, you can see my shaved arms there. But if she mom's calling me, guys, my mom is calling me right now. Hold on. Okay, I love my mom, but she helps me with Grace, my daughter. So I don't know what else to do without her. She's helping me this coming weekend when I'm away out of town. And like today's Halloween, my daughter doesn't want to participate, which is not a big deal. But like, there's back of my head, it's like, I want to make sure her social emotional peers relationships are good. Social emotional, her peer relationships are good. And there's a lot of anxiety I have about like, her one group of her one friend, I'm having the mother is helping me next week when I'm coming back from the airport. And I'm concerned it's going to throw my daughter off because like, uh, I guess I'm getting very overwhelmed by everything right now. And it's like flu shots and don't want to get COVID. I don't want my mom to get COVID. I need to work. Like all of this stuff is compounding in my brain. And I have to, I guess, just like chill the fuck out, I guess, I don't know. Like I started to think like if she gets her flu shot Wednesday and starts to have flu symptoms and I have to fly on Friday, what the fuck do I do then? This is my psychoness that's happening. It's like I don't have a fallback. Her dad's not a fallback. And that was the other thing. Like, this week was my birthday and I had a good birthday overall. Her dad was annoying me because he was like refusing to take her to gymnastics the weekend on when I'm away. And then he finally said yes on my birthday when he texted me happy birthday. And I was like, I wrote this whole thing out to him and I said, what did I say to him? I said, my mom is like rearranging her schedule for what did I say? Oh, I said, my mom's rearranging her schedule to help us. Like, do you think you could at least just kind of, I know it's a lot to drive up here and then stay for gymnastics because he lives far away. And he finally said yes. I was like, okay, phew. So he came around. But that was happening on my birthday. I am always dealing with the idea of I need to make more money right now, especially because, this is my full-time job. Well, I teach out of college online, so that's part of it. And then also, obviously Divorce Diaries and my theater company and acting, these are the elements that I want to really make my full-time income, and it's hard as fuck. And especially when you have additional expenses like a kid and, obviously rent in a car, doctor bills, all that kind of stuff. So I am always a little nervous about that. So, and I'm trying to take a deep breath and let it happen and just focus on work and not get distracted. But that stems in the back of my head. And then I had a great weekend last weekend. I have an itchy nose. Sorry, guys. I had a great weekend last weekend with shows. I had 3 gigs, a film festival, awesome, right? And I was telling everybody last episode. Okay, my nose is really itching. You're not if you're not watching on the YouTube, you're gonna see it. I'm itching my nose with my shirt. Yes, everybody, I am single. The eye crust and the itchy nose and still itchy. Um, I need to get tissues. And so yes, I'm still single. Speaking of single, I was talking to a new guy, or I mean, I don't know what to say. How is it? Is it the present, past? I don't know. He is very sweet. I felt like we met at my show. I think I kind of told you guys in the previous episodes we met at my show. He kind of just dropped into my show, and I was like, all right. And we have been talking ever since, and we went out once, like on a not a date, but like a kind of see each other again from the last time that we actually met. And I really like him. And the problem was last time I was mentioning how there's something a little off. I feel like a vibe that is not something's coming. So to preface the whole situation, this happened around my birthday, and like there's he even referenced it as like a pink elephant in the room, but it's not a pink elephant. It's just really, well, I guess it's an elephant. I don't know if it's an elephant. It's our religious backgrounds, okay? So I have had the divorced rabbi on this show, Noam Rauscher, who is a rabbi. He's Jewish. I'm Catholic, whatever. So I had this episode on, and I guess he had saw that. That's how he found out about my show in New York, which is awesome. He is Jewish, and it's funny because when I had that interview with Noam, I was like, he's cute and he's into his faith, and oh my god, why can't there be a guy like that on the East Coast? And sure enough, God dropped one into my show, which was great. But there's a problem because I think he's having an issue with our backgrounds, our religious backgrounds. And I'm not saying this the way I want to say this, because I was going to do a joke about how, first I've had guys, I'm into it, like their issue is commitment. And then the other issue with some guys is that they're committed, but they're committed to their wife. This guy is just having the issue with the fact that I fucked up the joke. Well, what it was the joke I did yesterday? I was like, there was one guy who his issue was commitment. The other guy whose issue was commitment to his wife. This guy, his issue is my commitment to Jesus. So, he doesn't have an issue with it per se. Like I can do whatever I want, but it is an issue of the fact that I'm not Jewish, and I don't even practice. He's he's conservative. So he practices a kosher lifestyle, diet, and I don't have a diet. I literally eat whatever's left on the fucking plate that my daughter ate already. So I don't know what that is. That's probably an issue for me to figure out, but anyway, so there's been a couple of different things that have happened over the course of me talking with him that I felt like, universe, I really like him. Please let this not be another like roller coaster of depression at some point down the road. Like, please give me a sign. And I talked about this yesterday on the episode that I deleted, but it was important for me to bring it up again because I do look at signs and I take them in, and because I ask for signs, and I do believe that that's the universe or whatever the higher being you believe in is responding. Okay. So first time I asked for a sign, this was a little interesting. He deleted his Facebook account. If he listens to this, he's gonna be like, wait, what? I asked for a sign. I was like, please let this be a sign that, or what did I say? I said, please give me a sign that this is like a good thing, or that this guy is real. Because I actually had just been talking to him, I think, for like 2 weeks, and he like deactivated his Facebook account. And I was like, what the hell? And then he's like, no, I just don't want to fall down the rabbit hole of social media. And I was like, oh no, I get it. That makes sense. So I was like, universe, please tell me that's not the sign. And I'm still hoping it wasn't. So cut to us meeting again, or meeting in actual person outside of the show. I talked about that on one of the episodes where it was a little bit of an issue for him meeting up, I think, originally, because there was like a lot of, I think there was, from what I gathered, there was a little bit of pressure because again, I'm not in his faith, I'm not in his community in that way, and not not in his community. What is that? What am I trying to say? I'm not Jewish and I don't practice the kosher lifestyle. So I felt like maybe he was having a lot of anxiety about it. And then he brought it to my attention and totally like kind of deflated me a little bit. And I was like, well, I didn't look at this as a bad thing, but we met up and it was really nice. And it was really, really nice. Like we hugged and gave a little kiss on the lips, and it was not like what I'm used to. Usually if I really, if a guy is really into me, they're like groping me. Oh, well, not all the time, but I guess this is the reason why I need to not date those men anymore, because that's not really, I guess, if they're trying to treat you like a lady, maybe they don't do that right away. So anyway, it was nice, and I felt reciprocate, like there was this reciprocation back and forth with feelings or whatever we want to call it at that moment. So then we keep talking, and then my birthday's coming around the corner, and so I started to think, well, something feels off, even though he's being attentive and talking, like something feels a little off, but I guess I'll wait till after my birthday. And I was hoping he was going to ask me out because he had mentioned it a little bit, and he had mentioned like gift, and I was like, okay, so literally I said on the podcast last week that I felt like there was a vibe that was off, and literally a couple hours later I asked the universe after I recorded, like, please, if this is not meant to be, like, I just can't handle spiraling into this sadness again with somebody I really like. And then, of course, a couple hours later, he's like, he said something about my birthday, how he had a gift for me, and that he had a bunch of spiraling thoughts or something along those lines. So what I took that was like, I took that sentence that he wrote, and I was like, his thoughts were spiraling because he didn't know where to take me for my birthday. And I was like, oh my God. And then he wrote, no, that's not what I mean. And I was like, oh God, what now? And so he's like, I have to address the pink elephant in the room. I'm like, please tell me she's not a brunette and 5'5" and has a marriage certificate with your name on it, because that would not be pretty. He's like, no. And of course it has to do with what I was saying, the religious background. And I was really upset because the conversation, when we started to have the conversation, I got really upset. So I kind of stopped listening. I listened, but I was like freaking out in my head, like, I got to get fucking out of here. This is a danger zone for me, because I started to think, oh, he's looking at all of this as negative. And I've talked to him since, so I want to bring that up in a second. But when he first brought it up, it was like sounding like, oh, all of the things that you're saying are the opposite that I was thinking. Like, I was thinking, oh my gosh, we're both from different religious backgrounds. That's so cool. Like, let's break rules. Yes, coming from two opposite sides of the religious spectrum is hot. Okay, so, but he was looking at it like, how would this work? And I don't look at it like that. I looked at it, I even said to him last night, I was like, I think that you had a very closed mindset from this. I tend to get really worked up over things. So I was trying to remain calm at the time. And even last night when I was speaking to him, I was trying to just hear what he was having to say, or his side of it. The 2 days before my birthday thing hurt because I was like looking forward to seeing him for my birthday. And it was such a fucking bummer. It totally deflated the air, and it totally like put a Sour Patch Kid in my fucking week. I don't know why I said Sour Patch Kid, but I get that he had to be honest, and I really struggled with it all week. Like, I really struggled. I was angry. I was frustrated. I was disappointed. I was like, well, maybe this was the sign and you have to accept it. Like, you have asked a couple of times now, Michele. And he did like message me for my birthday and was very sweet about the things that, because then he texted me the day after and was like, oh my God, did you block me on this app that we're using, WhatsApp, whatever. And I was like, no, I just deleted it because you're the only person I talk to on it, and I don't want to look at it on my phone anymore because I have a habit of like staring at things and wasting time. So he did say some really like heartfelt things that I felt like old Michele would have been like, oh, he does care. And I mean, I see, that's the problem that I have though, is that I will listen to the point and wait for this person to come around. Whereas with the men in the past, that what it's been like, oh, if they don't want to commit right now, they're not establishing if they're committing, or this person lives too far, this person is, let's just wait them out. Like, I don't want to do that. And he explained to me that he understood, um and that, I had, like, I stated, like, I can't talk to you. Like, I put that out there, and I was like, think we should take space, because this is scary that I'm gonna have to go down this road with somebody that I really like, and it's like gonna lead to a possibility of him saying I can't. And I don't want to advocate for myself. Like, I feel like I keep doing that in life, with everything, with work, with my love life, and sometimes, like, it's exhausting. And I don't mind advocating for myself when it comes to, like, work. I mean, I feel like that's okay. But, like, and when I advocate obviously for my daughter, but then, like, in my love life, like, I don't want to have to do that. And I get that he wasn't saying I had to, but it still kind of feels like I do, because I'm missing this key component. And I think he's also missing the component of, like, in my brain, it's like, get over it. But I don't want him to. I get that it's more difficult than that. Like, my manager is Jewish, and I was saying this all to my manager. He's like, Michelle, you're taking it personal, and it's not personal. Okay, well, I've also heard that a lot of times before with men. And again, this is a separate situation, so I have to stop dragging my past into it. But you know, I am not a Jewish woman. I am not a Jewish man. I can't live in the perspective of their shoes. And I know that there's years of oppression and a genocide. Like, 6 million were killed in the Holocaust. I can't fucking get underneath that pain and oppression. That's horrible. The loss of that to your people. I can only say that I stand by my Jewish friends and my Jewish community and colleagues 110%, if not more. I just would hate to think that someone is going to use what I was raised in from getting to know me further in a relationship. That sucks. So I released this episode yesterday, and I put in the description, like, you got to have faith, which you do that. But I wrote it, like, as a joke, like, got to have faith that every single guy I'm attracted to that I like is immediately repulsed by me and runs away like a frightened turtle, like a fucking cockroach to light. I didn't write cockroach to light, I forgot what else I wrote, but like a moth to a flame. So I wrote that, and he messaged me and it was like, should we talk about a few things? And I was like, oh no, I should take it down. Maybe this is a big mistake. I started having flashbacks to when the producer had told me to create from it. And he, like, completely, like, unfollowed my show and made me feel real shitty. And, like, but at the end of the day, like, I told my friend Maggie, she's like, well, then you have to, like, accept that this, well, he's like, well, she's like, this is your job, number one. And number two, then you also have to be aware that some of these people won't want to be in your life. And I was like, well, that's another Debbie Downer. And I was like, well, I would never, like, I'm never trying to, like, hurt anybody by what I put out there, but I do create for my life. And I don't, again, then I was starting to think, I was like, this is going to be a road barrier too. And so then my head just started going like, but what was good was that he definitely put out there that he was like, no, this is not why I'm reaching out. I just want to make sure that if I listen to it, I rather hear what you have to say first, as opposed to hear it on your podcast, to understand where you're coming from, which was really a first, in my opinion, of men reacting that way. I don't really talk to most of the men that I talk about on stage, except, like, the cop who doesn't really care and is like, yeah, it's funny. Like, he'll do that shit. He'll be like, you're a stalker. I'm like, I'm not a stalker, I'm a researcher. But anyway, so we talked last night and it was really nice. I mean, I was a little frustrated at first to try to understand more, and I also kind of wanted to, I was not frustrated at first. I really just wanted to be like, whatever, like, ugh, you ruined my week. But that's not true, because he was not responsible for how I feel. Well, I should say, I take things on. Like, that's how I take things on. Like, my perspective is my perspective. And if he says something to me because he feels like it's important, and if I take it the wrong way, it's not really anybody's fault. It's just how I took it. And yeah, I kind of wish he would have worded it like how he worded it yesterday, as opposed to how he worded it right before my birthday. But I definitely feel like I got a little bit of more clarification. Um, it's not to say that I'm still not a little lost by the whole thing, a little lost in the sense of like, okay, well, what do I do now? Because he's really struggling with this concept of really liking somebody, and then the person is not in his religious background and can't be a part of certain things, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I feel like, can't we all just be welcomed in? I don't know. But I did appreciate the conversation. I just hope that I don't go down a rabbit hole. Um, because he's so different from all the other guys I've done, like talked to, in a way where he's very sensitive and attentive, that I don't want to fall down a trap. Does that make sense? Like, in other words, I'm, and I'm not saying that to slight him, but like, I'm afraid that this is a trap of the same lesson I still can't learn. I'm really scared of that. And because like he's still not like, it's not like he called me last night and said, "I'm an idiot, I'm taking you out for dinner tomorrow night." What the fuck was I thinking? No, that's not how that's not what really happened. But it definitely was a conversation that was made me feel a lot better than I did last week. But it's, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I have to kind of just focus on my work and not kind of put it to the side. But he did like ask me if he could see me before California, and I really wanted to say yes. I was like, yes, 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 yes. But in my brain was saying that, and I was quiet, which is hard for me to be quiet. And I just was like, I just don't know, because I just feel like then that opens up things to like a weird can of worms, you know? Like, if I saw him before LA, like, what are we doing? Are we meeting in a parking lot? I don't know. And also, then what? I think in the back of my brain, that's where I'm at now. It's like, well, now what? And I do feel like I can go down a rabbit hole of uncertainty, and it can hurt me. And that's my biggest fear right now, is losing control of the Michelle Trina hustle, because I fall for a guy who's never going to be with me. That's a concern of mine, a big concern. And obviously, the good part is like feeling those good feelings of like, ooh, the butterflies. And I talked about the butterfly feeling with my favorite man, Ed Milet, and how he talks about on Max Out, like, you have these butterflies, and when you feel the butterflies, when we were kids, you go towards those butterfly feelings, but as we get older, we tend to not go toward the butterfly feelings in fear of the risk, right? What could happen, or what, the unknown. So last year when I was in Chicago, I was doing my show at the Comedy Shrine, and they asked me, at the time he was the booker, but he also is an actor and an improv and comedian, Dave Vaxmullen. Stay tuned, you know who this guy is. He asked me to do the improv, stay on to do the improv show with them after Divorce Diaries. And I was like, well, my flight is really early in the morning, and I don't want to, I got to get up early. And I was saying these things out loud, and I was thinking, wow, an improv show? I haven't been on an improv team in years. I don't know how I could do that. And then I thought about the whole thing with the book. It's like, why are you going to say no to those things that you're afraid of, but that are going to serve you? I knew it was going to serve me a good purpose, because if anything, it's more stage time, and I'm out of my comfort zone. It's scary to be out of your comfort zone, but it's like, I knew that was going to serve me a good purpose. Now for him, now on the personal level, like, being out of your personal comfort zone is an even scarier thing because of what's at risk, like heartbreak, and like hurt and loss, waste of time. I don't necessarily know if any of my past relationships are a waste of time, clearly, because they've provided me with a substance to create from always. I just really, really want passion and love in the form of a partner, which a lot of us do, right? And I don't want to deal with half of the fucking bullshit that comes with dating. So anyway, my thought process was, why is this guy so stuck on these issues where it could just be like, follow your butterflies? Um, it's not gas. Oh my gosh, I just compared myself to indigestion. So I don't know. I'm a little scared, to be honest with you. I'm happy that we talked. I'm scared because I also know like everybody in my life just like shakes their head at me when I come to them with like a new guy. They're like, "Ugh, what's wrong with this guy now?" Like it's not like they just know that I pick men who have challenges in committing to me or being with me. And again, I know I said this to him a couple of times and he gets it, but he's also like, "But that's not the case." But there's a small part of me that still thinks, "But it is the case." And look, we haven't even had a first date, so it's like not even commitment yet. It's just kind of like we can't get to the start line. um all right, so I guess what I'm trying to say is I have to have faith that the universe is showing me what I am to focus on. And that is my shows this week, which are in LA and San Diego. November 5th, LA, November 6th, San Diego. And November 26th, I am in Chicago. So please go grab a ticket. I can't wait to see you in one of your towns near you. Long Island is in December 2nd. Jersey back in January. Stay tuned for more dates coming. Oh, biggest one I'm forgetting is New Year's Eve. I'm going to be back in the Chicago area doing Wheaton, Illinois. All right. Well, I guess that's it for now. Stay tuned for your happily ever after, your happily divorced after. I'm Michele Trina, and this is Divorce Diaries. Thank you guys for tuning in.